Okay, in 6.4, it's really just going back and giving you some things about parallel lines, which we've already talked about. I think they're restating the obvious, but I just wanted you to, we're going to sum this up. So really, we're just going to give some things that we know. So if we know that we have parallel lines, so if we have parallel lines, okay, then there's all these things that are true. A, if the lines are parallel, then they have equal corresponding angles. And let's just kind of review what, so here's my two lines. I'm going to make them parallel. Well, kind of. This is my transversal that cuts across my two parallel lines, and corresponding are on the same side of the transversal. Just as a reminder, this is on the same side and either both above or both below. Okay, so an example is this. This is an example of corresponding angles right there. Okay. Also, what we can say is if the lines are parallel, then we get equal alternate interior. So we get equal alternate interior. Okay, and so alternate interior, let's go with these two. I should say this is 1 and 2. So I'm going to do this a little bit different. Angle 1, angle 2, example. Okay. Alternate interior are on opposite sides of the transversal. And inside the parallel lines. Okay, example here would be 3 and 4. Let's see, 3 and 4, angle 3, angle 4 is an example. Okay, so those, again, we talked about those last time. If we could find those to be equal, then they're parallel lines. Now we're saying if they're parallel lines, we know they're equal. So we're just doing the backwards thing of what we did last week, or the week before, actually. Okay, so C, the next one is the interior. Oh, go ahead.
So it's 4 and the one above, or alternate interior, that one?
3 and 4,
okay.
because one's on the one side of the transversal and one's on the other side.
Okay.
And they're inside. Okay.
Mhm.
The next thing, and I'm going to call it 5 here, is that the same side. What did they actually call it? Oh, yeah, it is. Same side, interior angles are supplementary. Which means, oops, they add to 180 degrees. Okay, so same side interior angles is an example is angle 4 and angle 5 are examples. okay? So these two things here on the inside are equal. Okay. Not equal, they're supplementary. They add together to make 180.
Does it have to be interior?
Yes, notice it says interior. So interior, same side though, not the opposite sides, the same side, okay? And then our last one is, okay, D. So basically it's if they're parallel and the transversal is perpendicular to one line, it's perpendicular to both, or to the other line. Perpendicular, I can't spell, so I'm gonna draw the symbol. To the other line. So this is if lines are parallel. All of these have this condition at the beginning, if the lines are parallel. Okay, so the lines have to be parallel for all those things to be true. Okay, so it's really going back over some of the things that we had talked about last week, but we went the other way. We said if they are equal, then the lines are parallel. So now we're just giving the reverse of that. Okay, so it kind of makes sense because we talked about them last week and now we're just adding the extra things. Okay. Okay, so that's really all that 6-4 is about. It's just going, that's why I said it's pretty easy because it's stuff we've talked about already. And so they're gonna just be giving you, the problems you'll be looking at will be problems that are just ones that are gonna ask you, are these lines parallel? And you're gonna look to see if you have equal corresponding angles, or they're gonna say these lines are parallel and which angles will be equal to each other. Okay. Then you also have vertical angles, remember? When you're looking at lines like this, you do have the vertical angles that you can find out, but that's true even without parallel lines. Vertical angles are there always. Okay, so let's go to 6-5. Looking through these. Again, 6-5 is one of those that's I think stuff you already know. There might be a couple new ones, but 6.5. So it is talking about areas or angles of a triangle. Okay, so the angles of a triangle, and I think you know a lot of this, but angles of a triangle. Okay. Some statements we can make. What do we know about all the angles in a triangle? What do they equal?
180.
180, okay? So the sum of the three angles is 180 degrees, okay? We should always know that. So anytime you have a triangle, you should be able, if you have two sides, you can always find the third. Okay, so that's something we use over and over and over and over again. Okay, so the next one is if two angles of one triangle are equal to two angles of another triangle, then the third angles are equal. Yeah, that makes sense, right? So if two angles in two triangles are equal, then the third angle in both triangles is equal. Should make sense. Because if two of them are equal in two different triangles, That third one will be the one that makes 180, and so those two have to be the same. Okay, so that's, I'm putting it so I don't have to write so many words, so I used angles and the little triangle symbol there, so that makes a little bit less words. Remember, mathematicians are really lazy in writing, we don't like to write. 3. Okay. Acute angles of a right triangle are complementary. Acute angles of right triangle are complementary. We just kind of write that down here. So here's my right triangle. Right there's my right triangle. Why do I know, what does complementary mean?
Adds to 90.
Adds to 90. So this says that this angle 1 and angle 2 here, angle 1 plus angle 2 will equal 90. Why is that true? Yes,
Because it's a right triangle.
it's a right triangle.
So 90 is already used up.
We already used 90 up, so these two have to equal 90 to give us our 180. Okay, so that's basically what it's saying there. Okay, so that's all that's saying. I drew the picture because it's kind of easier sometimes to see on pictures than it is to read the words. Okay, so the next one is, oh yeah, this one's easy. Okay, each angle in a equilateral triangle is 60 degrees. Because if it's equilateral, we know all the sides are the same, which means all the angles have to be the same. So therefore, 180 degrees divided by 3 is 60 degrees per angle. Because all of these angles are the same. Okay, so that's basically what it's telling you. So anytime you see an equilateral, or if it says it's an equilateral, you know that all the angles are 60 degrees. Okay. The next one is probably the one you don't know as well. Okay. It is, if you have an exterior angle of a triangle, it's equal to the sum of the remote interior. So we'll draw a picture on this. But an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the remote interiors. Okay, so we're going to draw a little picture here. So here is our picture. Now remember, this is an exterior angle. Remember, an exterior angle is the angle, so this is going with this one. The exterior angle is always an angle that if you just take one side and shoot it out farther, that's what we find, okay? Remote interior, this is not a remote interior. Remote interior would be these two over here. So we'll call this one 4, we'll call this one 1 and 2. We could call this one 3. But what we see is because these two add up to give me 180, right? 3 and 4 add up to give me 180. So then 1 and 2 must equal 4 because these all three, so let's just look at this. So angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 equals 180. Okay, we also know that angle 3 plus angle 4 equals 180 degrees. Does everybody agree with that?
Mhm.
Inside the triangle, they're 180. The two linear pairs, which are 3 and 4, are equal to 180. Okay. So basically, if I look at angle 3 here, let's take angle 3 away. Let's see, angle 3 minus, I have to think how I'm putting this back in there. If that's true, oh, then angle 4 must equal angle 1 and 2. Do you see that? Because if these 2 plus 3 are 180, if 4 and 3 are 180, then angle 1 plus angle 2 must equal angle 4, because we can replace this. I could put 4 in for these or 1 and 2 in for these, and it still gives us 180. Okay. So remote interior are just ones that are not right next to this. Okay, so that's what they are. Okay. And that's basically all of 6.5 that you have to do. So it's really going back and just reviewing all the things we kind of know about triangles, getting them in one spot. This is all about the angles of triangles, okay? And these are the things kind of that we know automatically. And so those are the things it's reviewing. And so the problems today will just be on that, okay? So that's what we covered for today.